Ladies and gentlemen, this is the beginning of part 3 of my new channel, $1 And in the description box, you can press the link to Amazon.com and purchase my book. And if you don't like it, you send it back, no questions asked. They just give you back your money for $9.99, even if everything I say is an absolute falsehood. If everything I say is a lie, it's still the most unique story that has been published in the last 50 years. In fact, once my story is publicized properly from an editor and a staff of people, you will see that the crazy guy from Howard Beach discovered an ability to prove the existence of a remnant society that has existed on the planet Earth for the last 50,000 years. However, this same remnant society that which I speak of is responsible for the creation and the rising of the lost colony of Atlantis. It is also the remnant society that which I speak about that is responsible for the building of the Great Pyramid that exists in Egypt. The Great Pyramid that exists in Egypt, ladies and gentlemen, it is the brother or the companion of the Ark of the Covenant. It is a representation of a gift from this entity that which we perceive to be a god, but the human mind can't possibly handle the full knowledge of this God. However, when the Lord God gave Moses the Ark of the Covenant as a bond between the Lord God and the Israelites, he gave them his protection, and he gave them an object of power that had its own field of energy. This field of energy given to the Israelites from the Lord God was a bond, the same way the Great Pyramid in Egypt was a bond between those people. And for some reason, the same process that the Israelites didn't follow the Lord God and have constantly throughout history disobeyed the laws of the Lord God, the same thing probably happened with the Egyptians, and they were wiped off the face of the earth. Who designed the greatest structure on this planet? Do you really believe that there isn't any evidence in the Vatican, in the chambers below the Vatican? Do you really believe that there is no knowledge of who created the Great Pyramid? Of course there is. There's probably volumes that go on for entire rooms of volumes of work that are stuffed inside places like the Vatican and maybe the Library of Congress or the Museum of Natural History in the archives. They have all the knowledge of the past 50,000 years stored somehow, and they're not giving it to you because, and the reason they're not giving it to you is because then you wouldn't follow their philosophies. You wouldn't fall into the trap of religion. And although I can prove to you and do prove to you in my book that the Great Pyramid, the Ark of the Covenant, the 3,300 pictographs that appear on the obverse and reverse of the $1 bill, and the words in the Bible itself, along with something that I always don't like to throw in because King Solomon's temple was also a gift from God, designed by God. And it is an actual physical reality that the Ark of the Covenant is the entire green side of the $1 bill. But it is an actual physical reality that if you could, and most people can't, visualize three-dimensionally King Solomon's temple, you could see that as well. And it's described in my book detail for detail. There are 1,990 pages in my book describing this stuff. I am going to transform the way mankind looks at what we perceive to be a godlike entity. This is right in your face, ladies and gentlemen. The Lord God said He would make Himself known and spread His word to all four corners of the world via Deuteronomy, by spreading His word like the fine mist that appear on the blades of grass. That means everywhere on the planet, in infinitesimally amounts that are not countable. The Lord God said He would spread His word. Not the God of Christianity, and not the God of Judaism, and not Buddha, but a combination of all the gods that have existed and all the gods that are represented on the $1 bills, which is why I created the book and now this new channel, $1GODZ, where I get away from the crazy hats and ties and things like that. This is pure knowledge that I'm going to impart to you as my gift to you, because it was someone or something's gift to me. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. What you have here on the screen is one of the many depictions that I have created explicitly for the book, and that appears in the book with detailed descriptions of what I just said to you. At the top of this pictograph, at the very top of the pictograph that I'm going to bring you right here, I'm going to put it into the center of the screen. It is almost as if you see these pictures of the World Trade Centers being blown up when you fold the $20 bill or the $10 bills. When I folded this bill, what you see here is the letter E as in Edward. And what you see here is a representation of the letter U. And when you rotate this, it looks like EU. And it looks like that for a specific reason. Because once the knowledge of this in and of itself is publicized to the world, the European Union is going to take precedence over the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, you can say goodbye to America when Michelle Bachmann becomes president, because the Zionists, aka the Jewish faction, aka the dual citizenship people of this world, take Michelle Bachmann and place her into the presidency. You can rest assured that, as I have said before, all the bills necessary to collapse the Constitution and the American way of life will have already been in place, and Michelle Bachmann will become a completely different type of president. Money as we know it is going to disappear. The $1 bill as we know it is going to disappear. And when the $1 bill is removed from society, the world as we know it will end, aka the chip, aka the beast, aka the mark that appears in the forehand or the forehead, aka the beast. The electronic version of money will determine the end of the world as we know it, and the end of this tape, aka I need to get a bigger camera. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of part 2. From Michael Fazio telling you I need to get a bigger camera. 2B as in boy.